the former vice president, in his third run for the highest office, pulling off a rare defeat of a sitting commander in
Holy
presidential
smokes,
race.
This is it. CNN just called it.
CNN projects Joseph R. Biden Jr. is elected the 46th president of the United States,
called
winning
it.
the White House and denying President Trump a second term. We're able to make this projection because CNN projects Biden wins Pennsylvania. The former vice president, in his third run for the highest office, pulling off a rare defeat of a sitting commander-in-chief.
We're
With
done.
this victory,
Trump is done.
Kamala Harris is set to become the first woman and the first person of color to be the vice president. Again, CNN projects Joe Biden will become the 46th president of the United
CNN
States.
has projected
And
it.
Jake, he is
We're
now
waiting on a news
President-elect
conference.
Joe Biden.
What a moment in
MSNBC
history
has
we have
no.
all been waiting on
MSNBC
the
just
edges
called
of
it. Here's MSNBC and blah, 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 blah. I'm so excited.
Home. At the age of 29, Joe Biden became.
Let's go back. Let's watch the official call. Here we go. We just got some voting for Philadelphia. That's what pushed it over the
breaking in
edge.
Joe
Here we
Biden's
go.
favor. And then the Philly votes
Your
coming
song's
in,
lovely, Dr. Howard.
piecemeal, where Joe Biden's getting 90% of
Yep. Let's see the
Okay,
announcing.
We have an announcement to
And then-
make.
yes,
Joe
we do.
Biden is president-elect of the United States. Biden is being called with the Pennsylvania votes that have just come in. Biden has been elected, Mika, and tell us about him.
Well, the president-elect of the United States, Joe Biden, has run for president 3
Well, that's completely underwhelming from
times, and the
MSNBC.
third time has turned
Let's
out
go to
to
Fox.
I mean, this happens every election cycle. It was close back 4 years ago. It was close before that.
They called it.
Our job is to
Let's go
be
back.
as accurate as we can be.
See how Fox called it.
Was influenced by polls that so favored Joe Biden
Oh,
that a
they
lot
already
of
called
Trump
it before
supporters
that.
didn't even bother to show up. Is there
Oh,
any
no, they're just doing
truth to that?
states.
Let's
I
go
don't
to
think
Frank
they've actually
Luntz.
called
Frank,
it.
what do you think?
I think that the polls were biased.
Hold on.
So there's an
To tip the vote that right now is so
example of 100 miscalculated
Nope, Fox still has not called it.
votes. That's not enough. You have to go beyond the amount, and I don't see that it doesn't seem possible at this point.
So what do you do, Frank? Like, you know, I'm not trying to second guess news organizations, our own included, make a call on a state or what looks like a too close to call situation. When does the
It's been
math
called.
get prohibitive, let's say, for Donald Trump? I mean, when it's outside the margin of error that he...
I called it 2 days ago, by the way. Here's my call. So it's been called. So MSNBC, CNN, you're kind of late to the game here. But yeah, this is what we knew would happen. Fox still not calling it. Let me just see if AP has called it. And USA Today. Let's check out USA Today. And still no. Yeah, they called it. USA Today has called it. AP. I'll show you what I'm looking at here. So USA Today has called it. Let's go to trending here and see what's happening. Okay, fine. Let me refresh this. So, right now Fox News is doing an in-depth preview of Nancy Pelosi being ousted. NBC News, they've called it. Let's see what they're saying here. That's the Senate. NBC News has called it. As we know, MSNBC, NBC, same thing. So they would have called it. Let's see what the AP says. Associated Press. AP call. Let's see. And AP call. Okay, Joe Biden wins Pennsylvania. So, well, that's it. That's how it works. So NPR, they've called the race. The AP has called the race. NPR uses AP. So, yeah, everybody but Fox News at this point still holding out. Let's see if they've... oh, here we go. That's Nevada.
Even if he won all remaining votes.
Let's go live to Fox.
And I want to compliment Brett Baer. The two of you have done an outstanding job of looking straight into the camera, of telling your audiences what they need to know, of being...
And Chris Wilson says Trump is announcing a great deal today on gutter guards. Yeah, we tuned in right now to cover Trump's press conference at Four Seasons Landscaping in Philadelphia. Okay, so that'll be coming up at some point. I hope that Fox News interrupts to call the press conference. There's a whole bunch of people watching Fox News right now who have no idea that Biden's been called.
Being precise.
Let's go live.
Albeit closely in Florida, so he was in the this is wrong camp, and I'm going to prove
it's
it.
Been called
which
now
is
for
a
about
much
10
tougher
minutes.
position
Nothing
to be in
on
than the
Fox.
guy who's in the lead, right?
Well, Donald Trump has the right, and he should exercise that right, to challenge the vote. He has the right to question every aspect of that process of the counting. Are these accurate votes? But once it has become clear in either side, then you accept the results. That's what Americans do. That is what we've done for 240 years. And
that is not what Americans do, Frank.
in fact, the poison in American politics started in the year 2000 when some Democrats did not accept the election of George W. Bush. And I remember that. I was there. I was in Florida when that happened, and I thought, this is wrong. This is going to do damage. Now we're 20 years later. The Trump voters have every right, and they should pursue every legal means possible. But if the decision is made, then you accept the results.
All right. Thank you very, very much, Frank. We'll see what happens. I want to go to this Pittsburgh
Yeah, David makes a good point here. Doesn't the Trump campaign already have enough fertilizer to go around?
event right now. Other news organizations are saying it's a moot point in Pennsylvania right now, that it appears that Joe Biden has won. We are not ready to make that call ourselves. Let's go to Pittsburgh and get the latest.
Yes.
Yesterday.
The 7,000 are part of the 29.
Yes. Yes.
How many provisional are there?
We have approximately 17,000.
Okay,
That's
three
not a month.
questions.
We heard that
Thank
number
you,
is
guys.
going to
I'm
go up.
sorry. He's trying to get through this process too, so he'll be back as soon as we have another update, okay? Thank you. Thank you.
All right, didn't get much of an update there, or at least I came into it late, so I'm sorry I don't know exactly what transpired there. Close as it is in the Keystone State, other news organizations are pouncing on the gap between the two candidates right now, enough to say Joe Biden has won that state. And in winning that state, he has already amassed the electoral votes that will need to become the next president of the United States. We at Fox have not yet made that call, so we
let's go back. I want to catch those calls.
200.
Hold on, we're gonna bounce around a little bit here, kids. This is for my
Tell them the truth, Matt, about you.
Let's see. Let's go back. Yeah, it's been a while now. Let me just get the breaking. Biden on verge. Where's the actual call? Here it is.
CNN.
I want to just capture this.
The highest office.
Let's see.
Winning the White
House. How I can do this and still have you
We
folks
can
see
now
it.
project the winner.
Okay, hold on just a second here. I can only record on one screen right now for whatever reason with my software. So let me see what I can do. There we go. That should work. I'm not going to be able to see what you guys are seeing, but you're going to see me recording this. So give me a second here. And hopefully you guys are seeing the screen right now with CNN. I'm going to start recording that. There we go. And
in this blue collar right around this part of the state. Wolf, as you look at these numbers right now, you're building and building and building.
After 4 long, tense days, we've reached a historic moment in this election. We can now project the winner of the presidential race. CNN projects Joseph R. Biden Jr. is elected the 46th president of the United States, winning the White House and denying President Trump a second term. We're able to make this projection because CNN projects Biden wins Pennsylvania, the former vice president, in his third run for the highest office, pulling off a rare defeat of a sitting commander-in-chief. With this victory, Kamala Harris is set to become the first woman and the first person of color to be the vice president. Again, CNN projects Joe Biden will become the 46th president of the United States. And Jake, he is now President-elect Joe Biden.
What a moment in history. We
Okay,
have
we
all
got
been
that one.
waiting on the edges of
Let's
our
go
seats since
to-
Tuesday. It is the end. The end.
Go get that on
of a
MSNBC.
That he didn't need to see them grow into men because he was proud of them. You'd think it would end there in terms of tragedy, but then
Most likely going to be as president.
Here we go.
Disproportionately breaking in Joe Biden's favor. And then the Philly votes coming in piecemeal, where Joe Biden's getting 90% of. Okay, we have an announcement to make. Joe Biden is president-elect of the United States. Biden is being called with the Pennsylvania votes that have just come in. Biden has been elected, Mika, and tell us about him.
well, the president-elect of the United States, Joe Biden, has run for president 3 times, and the 3rd time has turned out to be the charm. Not only the charm, but possibly the most consequential election of our lifetimes. He is 77 years old. He was born in Scranton, Pennsylvania, but calls Wilmington, Delaware,
Okay, got that
his
one.
home.
Now
At the
let's go
age
down to
of
Fox and see if
29,
they're
Joe
announcing anything
Biden
yet.
The New York Times. We've heard a number of others that
They are
now
not.
saying that they are.
Let's go down to
contemplating doing the
ABC
same, but
or
they have
something
not.
else and
As of
see.
yet, it depends.
Yep. CBS announced it. Let's see if I actually
But
have
there
it.
are already people who have started
I
to
don't.
gather here outside the gates. We saw that yesterday when there was that sense of anticipation that the former vice president may deliver a speech when we thought maybe a call was
Oh,
imminent.
hold on. Here's a bizarre pursuit on a runway. Let's watch that instead. Hopefully you guys are seeing this. I don't know.
Was on the runway.
Patrol units rushed to the runway after someone reported a car driving recklessly at the airport. The driver had his arms out of the sunroof. At one point, he rounded a curve not far from a jet that was slowly taxiing down the runway.
Back and forth on both active runways, about 60, 70 miles an hour. He's got both
Dude,
his
wear your
arms
mask properly.
out the moon roof, yelling and screaming. I don't know whether he was trying to steer with his knees or whether he wasn't steering at all.
Patrol units tried 3 pit maneuvers, the first one at a slow speed, another after the driver got onto the grass, and another that almost worked but failed on the runway. LA Airport Police Sergeant
steers
Charles
out of it with
Pierce
his
was
knees.
there when the driver
Out he
crashed
goes.
through the fence,
Yeah.
bringing the pursuit to an end. We spoke with the sergeant, who ultimately stopped the driver and took him into custody.
Dude's got some
He breached the fence
skills.
line right here by just driving through. At this point, I really didn't have any desire to let this guy get away, and I'm right behind him, so I came through the fence line as well. So as you can see, the damage on my poor police car.
He says the man cooperated but rambled about being followed
All right,
by
that's
the
good stuff.
government and
That's
a
solid,
Mexican
solid
cartel.
news right there.
The man was taken to the
Good
hospital
Morning
by
America.
ambulance
Let's
after
see. I don't know if I
complaining of
record this.
trouble
Let's
breathing.
go to the ABC and see if I record the Good Morning America. I probably do.
Senator
Nope, I don't have
Harris.
it.
It is those little girls
How do I get
and women
it?
of color
Where's...
all across this nation who have felt counted
Come on,
out,
YouTube
who have
TV.
felt like they have not been represented in politics, who have been told to just stand by
there's no
and
option
wait
to
their
record this.
turn, that will
I
now
don't know
feel
why.
like they have a seat at the table, and
All
that
right, well,
is
that's
what
probably
makes this
enough.
moment so
Let's
much
go
larger
back
than politics,
and
George.
I'm going to
Rachel
shift
Scott,
things
thanks
around
very
again
much.
here.
Mary Bruce, we have the first reaction from
you
the
guys
Biden
don't
campaign.
need to see that. Hold on.
We do, George. It is not from the president-elect yet. It is from one of his top advisors
All right,
saying
we're back.
character, justice, and decency were on the ballot. Character, justice,
All right, fine, character,
and
great.
decency won. I have to
Okay,
tell you,
let's
as we have
go.
sat here for the
Oh, here we
last
go.
4
No,
days
they're calling
watching,
Arizona on
carefully poring
Cavuto.
over
They
all
still
of
haven't
these results.
called.
There has been.
Oh, wait.
Invalid. Well, Maricopa County's elections department says that's just not so.
Fox News alert. Nope, they're still just doing state by state on Fox.
Different types of ink.
Living in denial.
It's going to be harder to figure out how you can put an effort together to be successful. So from the Republican point of view, we're not convinced it's over.
Still waiting on that press conference at the landscaping company. That'll change everything.
Yet, and we're going to wait and see how the rest of these states play out. We have, as you can see from the board, a lot of still very, very narrow races. So let me just say, there's not the feeling yet that this is over. Obviously, Van, very moved, and I can understand how people are feeling the way you're feeling right now. I think, as we've talked about before, It's a very divided country, and I think a lot of folks on our side are feeling the fears that you're feeling, that you have been feeling the past 4 years. On the economic side, people are afraid that Joe Biden is going to do what Boris Johnson is doing and Angela Merkel are doing in Europe and shut down the economy. There are a lot of blue-collar people, and again, we've been talking about this, that a lot of blue-collar Americans felt that neither political party really cared about them, and that they were the ones who were losing their jobs. They were the ones who, whether it was technology or trade or globalism, that they were sort of left behind by both political parties, Republicans for big business and Democrats for tech and the environment and all these other issues, and that the working class people were sort of left behind. And so they're worried about, going back to global agenda and not worrying about what's going on here in America. There are a lot of people of faith who are worried about religious liberty.
Okay, you guys can watch me editing for a second. Hold on. I'm just going to edit the two of them that I've got together and then post that for Mr. Trump so he knows that he's lost.
Presidential race. CNN projects Joseph R.
Hold on. We'll just stop it right there. We'll split there. Here goes the beginning.
CNN projects Joseph R. Biden Jr. is elected the 46th president of the United States, winning the White House and denying President Trump a second term.
Good enough for me? Okay, that's enough of that right there. Let's go to the announcement on, there we go, breaking news.
President-elect of the United States, Biden is being called with the Pennsylvania votes that have just come in. Biden has been elected, Mika, and tell us about it.
Well, the president-elect of the United States, Joe Biden, has run for president 3 times, and the third time has turned out to be the charm. Not only the charm, but possibly the most consequential election of our lifetimes.
Okay, that's good enough for me right there. And CNN had something about Kamala being the first woman, too. Let's see if we can get that in there. Welcome, everybody. You're watching the live stream. This is special election day, or should I say ejection day coverage. We're just putting together a little bit of montage of the announcements here, and we'll get that. We'll send that off on the Twitters.
Term. We're able to make this projection because CNN projects Biden wins Pennsylvania.
Yep.
The former vice president in his third run for the highest office, pulling off a rare defeat of a sitting commander-in-chief. With this victory, Kamala Harris is set to become the first.
Okay, let's do this.
With this victory,
okay, we're just
Kamala
cut there. We'll split there, and then we'll go back.
And denying President Trump a second term.
Okay, we'll edit there. We'll get rid of that middle stuff so we can get this in nice and quick, and then we'll take a look at what we've got here. Let's go back to the beginning and watch together, shall we?
CNN projects Joseph R. Biden Jr. is elected the 46th president of the United States, winning the White House and denying President Trump a second term. With this victory, Kamala Harris is set to become the first woman and the first person.
Let's overwrite that so that people won't be like, oh, you guys are fake. This is fake because you can see the jump cut, which people do. Here
In the White House and denying President Trump a second term. With this victory, Kamala Harris is set to become
good enough for me.
President-elect President of the United States. And Jake, President-elect.
Let's get rid of the and Jake at the end there. And we can do that by just crossfading here, and we'll see this. Of the United States. And Jake,
President-elect of the United States.
Did Fox just call it? Okay, let's go find Fox, and yes, they just called it. Okay, cool. Let's go back and get
Chester
that as
County,
well.
similar, close. Now in Nevada, I'll get to that in a moment, but some breaking
They
here.
still have.
And
where's the breaking?
The election workers have been working.
Waiting. Come on, there it is.
That has not happened since 1992 and President George H.W. Bush. Keep in mind the Trump.
Is this the breaking?
The Fox News decision desk.
There it is.
to Joe Biden.
Okay, let's bring this over. I'll try and make it so you guys can see this. Okay, and right here, and boom, and coming up, and I'm going to record this. Give me just a second, please. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing here. If not, it's just going to be a second.
That he has now amassed enough electoral votes to be named the next president of the United States.
Let's go back.
News organizations that have seized on developments in the Keystone State that have some, not all, calling the state, and thereby extension, this presidential race to Joe Biden. That he has now amassed enough electoral votes to be named the next president of the United States. Let's go to Brett Baer, Martha McCallum, Martha McCallum, Martha McCallum, Martha McCallum.
The Fox News decision desk can now project that former Vice President Joe Biden will win Pennsylvania and Nevada, putting him over the 270 electoral votes he needs to become the 46th president of the United States.
Donald Trump, the 45th president of the United States, who stated in this process, "I will never give up fighting for you and our nation," will be denied a second term. That has not happened since 1992 and President George H.W. Bush. Keep in mind the Trump campaign is in the midst of waging legal challenges in several states.
We don't need to keep that in mind, but thank you.
The path is clear for the new president-elect.
The states will all need to officially...
Okay, cool. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to bring it up here. Hopefully you guys could see that. I don't know if you could or not. And then we'll edit that into our little montage as well. I loved what they said that. Hey, Bev. Hey, David. Good to see you. I don't know what the stutter thing was. That was coming in. I didn't do that. That was right from the Fox feed. So I'm unclear on that. You know what? They're going to take that on that. Well, what? How come if this was legal and full, how come Fox stuttered? Let's go right back, and we're going to start this. What should we start this with Fox or end this with Fox? That's the question of the day. What's going to be more devastating to the right wing? We could actually, you know, if we do CNN and then MSNBC, they'll be like, oh, yeah, but that's totally fake. Oh, Fox. Oh, which they're now chanting sucks anyway. So, but it'll be nice to have that finally in there. Come on, give it to me. Do it. Okay, I'll open. Open. Import. Media files. There they are. Here's Fox. Coming at you. End it with Fox. Good call. All right, at random says we end it with Fox. That's what we're going to do. Let's go right to the breaking news. Fox News alert. There it is right there.
Martha McCallum. Martha McCallum. Martha McCallum. Martha McCallum.
We'll just cut it right there.
Consequential election of our lifetime.
The Fox News decision desk can now project that former Vice President Joe Biden will win Pennsylvania and Nevada, putting him over the 270 electoral votes he needs to become the 46th president of the United States.
Donald Trump, the 45th president of the United States, who stated in this process, "I will never give up fighting for you and our nation," will be denied a second term. That has not happened since 1992 and President George H.W. Bush.
Good enough for me. What did she say right after that?
Keep in mind the Trump campaign is in the midst of waging...
Yeah, whatever. I'm not going to keep that in mind. I think we're good there. Let me produce that, and then we will be good to go. Oh, you know what? Why don't we throw our own little live stream in there? But the other states aren't official. It doesn't really matter. But I think I do have one for Pennsylvania. Let's see if I do. Can we bring that up? Let's go to libraries, videos, live stream, election. Should be an election 2020 screen right there. And let's see if I have... with pen, with music, I do. Let's pull that in there right there. And we'll just crossfade that a little bit. We don't even have to. Okay.
H.W. Bush.
Super loud. Let's turn that down. Still too loud. And let's turn that down. Actually, I should put the Lizzie clip that she captured yesterday.
1992, and President George H.W. Bush.
Yeah, I gave him North Carolina, so he's got the 217. Or maybe he doesn't. I don't know. We don't need that there. Is he out golfing right now? Oh, you know what? We should put like a funny Trump clip at the end there. Him saying, let's just open up the Trump files here. The Trump files. Let's open up the Trump files, and we'll just go to libraries, we'll go to videos, we'll go to the Trump files, and see what we got here. Close to zero, all important, GDP, baby Trump. The baby Trump. Oh, we can put the baby Trump dance in there. Let's see. Okay. He says the F word on. Let's see. I don't even remember that. Let's listen to the Trump saying the F word.
Right. And Iran knows that, and they've been put on notice. If you fuck around with us, if you do something bad to us, we are going to do.
Yeah, that's not really apropos. Let's open up something else from the Trump files here. Okay, and let's see. You need grocery ID. Are you for invading Iraq? White power. I don't joke. Boo, boo, boo. When somebody's president, the authority is total. Could use that. Vote Trump. Oh, here's what we're doing. Let's bring this in here because this is just wonderful. Here we go.
Nation will be denied a second term. That has not happened since 1992 and President George H.W. Bush.
4 years, come on everybody, 4 more years, come on everybody, 4 more years. Woo! There will be another USA, freedom on the combat, give it away. It's time to vote, it's time to pray.
Is it saying?
2020, vote Trump.
Oh, okay. This is the unedited. Hold on. We'll put my edited version in there in case you guys haven't heard us say. Seen that? Let's go to. I'm gonna have to find it some other way. Give me a second here. I got to bring it in from another screen. Okay. And there we go. Okay. Dancing rally. This looks like the one. Okay, and let's pull this over, put it in here, and see if this is what I'm looking for. Nope, that's the Donald Trump. Okay, where there? Tulsa. Yeah, so where's the actual output of it? Where did I put that? That's not it. It's exciting for you guys, I know. Sorry. Nope. Do I have it just under Tulsa? No, come on. Give me videos. Let's go Tulsa. You guys just amuse yourself in the chat room for a second here because I want to figure out any of this here. Okay. Did I put that in there? It still feels like I can't breathe. It still feels like Trump is still the president, and I don't know what is. Okay. So they're doing the announcement right now. Hold on. We'll get to that in a second. I want to find this, and come on, give me a second here, kids. Because I do want to find this. We'll go to, and then we'll process, then we'll go watch. We're recording the press conference right now, so we can watch the press conference delayed. Okay, when was the Tulsa conference, by the way? Dr. Birx. Oh, this is just too many files. My computer's like, wait, I've just got my Trump file is so full that it can't even... Here, let's do this. Let's bring up the press conference, and I will mess around with this while you guys are looking at that. Okay, get rid of this, and I don't even know what screen you guys are on. Hold on, let me check in here. Yeah, you're fine here. Let's go live on the Fox. I'm assuming they're watching it, or... No, they're doing this.
After the polls closed on Tuesday, we saw...
Is the press conference live, guys? Are they already doing that? David Mickelson just said something. Hold on, let's find that. I can pull that up on my screen if I can. I cannot. Come on, people. Why you gotta be like this? Let me go here. Let me go... Oh, 64 people are watching. Hi, 64 people. I should be covering this here. Let's watch that.
Sam Alito say from the Supreme Court that those ballots need to be sequestered. There are lots of other states where ballots came in, including North Carolina, but of course I don't think the president cares too much about that because it looks like he's going to win that state. But other states where ballots came in after polls closed on election night, the Trump campaign is going to do everything it can to exclude those ballots. It's going to do everything it can in recounts to try to exclude other ballots, ballots potentially that were cured, ballots where signatures didn't match. So there's a lot of ground to cover between now and December 14th, Brett and Martha, when those electors meet, that the Trump campaign believes it can mount a challenge.
Okay, so David Mickelson said, Team Trump says Biden has not been certified as the winner of any states, let alone any of the highly contested states headed for mandatory recounts. Okay, all right. Yep, but he's been called, so...
To what we are seeing in the initial vote count.
Let's go find this on YouTube then. If he's, we'll do the YouTube right there, YouTube. And let's see if the press conference comes up right off the bat. Okay, let's see. Oh, there's my broadcast right there on the YouTube. Trump press conference right now. Maybe we can filter by live. And here we go. Right side. Oh, right side. Of course, right side broadcasting's doing it. Let's. And there's my ad for the Epoch Times. 2, 1. Here it comes. Skip ads, and we'll go back on this so you guys can see what Giuliani's talking about. And going forward, still going back. Oh, he touches the mic needlessly. Imagine that. Okay, going forward. I'll start the volume up here in a second, here, guys, so you guys can watch this while I'm messing around. Here we go.
Pandemic hit right when that starts to occur.
Welcome, everyone. This is, by the way, this is the live stream, special Ejection Day coverage, turning into Ejection Week. And I'm your Kevinly Father. This is what I do. This is what you help me do. If you want to join the chat room, just chat on your app, whatever you're using. We're broadcasting right now on 4 different platforms. The fastest chat in terms of being able to see what I'm saying or what they're saying, and then you being able to chat right back to it, is on YouTube. So if you go to youtube.com/KevinlyFather, you'll see our live feed there. So youtube.com/KevinlyFather. If you'd like to support this, everything that we've been doing for the past many months, and everything that we will continue to do, although once January comes around, I don't know. There's still going to be Trumpage, I guess. Go to KevinlyFather.com or just send me a few bucks if you've enjoyed this coverage and it's been valuable to you. Send it to me on PayPal or Venmo. Let's get right back to Rudy.
Wow, what a beautiful day. Thank you. Thank you for coming. So I'm here.
Do you think anyone's told him?
On behalf of the Trump campaign, as an attorney for the president, to describe to you the first part of a situation that is extremely troubling, first of all for the state of Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and then for a number of other states. And these lawsuits will be brought starting on Monday. But the first time it was discovered was here in Pennsylvania just a couple of days ago. The people you see behind me are just a few of about, I'd say, 50 to 60 poll watchers who will all testify that they were uniformly, we'll wait. That they were uniformly deprived of their right to inspect any single part of the mail-in ballots. As you know from the very beginning, the mail-in ballots were a source of some degree of skepticism, if not a lot of skepticism, as being innately prone to fraud. The New York Times had written that 10 years ago under other circumstances, but of course changed their mind once it was a situation involving President Trump. Congresswoman Jordan, in her vast and compendious review of various forms of voter fraud, cited mail-in ballots as the most prone to fraud. With all that, you would have expected there'd be a high degree of security and a high degree of inspection that would be provided for mail-in ballots. Instead, in the wisdom of the officials, Democrat officials here in a city that's been Democrat for 60 years and has a very long history of voter fraud, documented history of voter fraud. Instead,
by the way, it does not. The Republicans sued in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania courts said, "Okay, give us your documentation of all this fraud that you're worried about." And the Republicans came back this year, by the way, for this election, the Republicans came back with not a single instance of mail-in voter fraud.
Of going to a high degree of care to allow inspections of the mail-in ballots, there was no inspection of a single mail-in ballot. Those mail-in ballots could have been for anybody. Those mail-in ballots could have been for anybody they wrote in. Those mail-in ballots could have been written the day before by the Democratic Party hacks that were all over the convention center. What I'm saying to you is not a single one was inspected, as the law required. Even when a court order was obtained to allow the Republican inspectors to get 6 feet closer, they moved the people counting the ballots.
That is inaccurate.
6 further feet away. It's really simple.
Up is down, east is west.
If you have nothing to hide with these mail-in ballots, you allow inspection. I mean, this is common knowledge.
They did.
Common practice in the examination of absentee ballots, which happens all the time. You take out the absentee ballot, you open it up, the Republican looks at it, the Democrat looks at it. If nobody objects, you put it in the pile. If either objects, you put it aside. That's what's done for absentee ballots, which have the extra security of having signatures you can match. Here, which a much more insecure method of voting, no Republican
unsecure
got a chance to look at that ballot. Some of the ballots you will see looked suspicious. From very far away, they look like same pen, possibly same handwriting. We can't say that because we never got to see it.
But from very far away.
Now you're also going to find that way across, on the other side of the state, there is a similar situation in Pittsburgh involving 300,000 ballots.
Way across. And this is true, though. Rudy has a point. Pittsburgh is farther than 6 feet away from Philadelphia. This is true. Fact check.
That were uninspected, unreviewed, not observed by a single Republican. Not a single one. It's got to be a pattern. As a friend of mine says, I don't believe in conspiracies, but I also don't believe in coincidences. Kind of funny that all Republicans were rejected here, and all Republicans were rejected in Pittsburgh, and it amounts to about, just about the 700,000 votes that President Trump was ahead by 2 days ago that disappeared.
The votes did not disappear. The votes are still there. Joe Biden, his votes, his additional votes, were just counted.
And we have no way of knowing, because we were deprived of the right to inspect, that just 1,000 votes that President Trump was ahead by 2 days ago, that disappeared. And
I like that he gives it a sound effect. First time, he just... Second time, there's a sound effect. He does a little ASMR. Sorry, Selena, if you're watching. Here it is. Yeah. Oh, heavens. He does... Goodness, Kevin's. Here we go.
1,000 votes.
Yeah.
That President Trump was ahead by 2 days ago.
Yeah.
That disappeared. And we have no way of knowing, because we were deprived of the right to inspect, if a single one of those ballots is legitimate. That is unheard of. It's illegal. It's unconstitutional. And we will be bringing an action challenging that. And I emphasize to you, it's only one of the many other infirmities in this election. I know this city has a sad history of voter fraud. After all, Joe Frazier is still voting.
All right, let's pause him. Let me show you guys what I got here. Let me see. Get your approval, since you guys are really in charge. This broadcast isn't about me. This is about you. This is what I got so far, and you guys can give me the yay or nay on here. I think I can make it full screen. Let's watch. There it is. Okay, this is your montage of the morning so far. Oh, you're gonna want sound. You guys are always that way. You're like, oh, I can't hear anything. Just the sound was there, and all of a sudden the sound was gone. Here we go. Sound.
CNN projects Joseph R. Biden Jr.
Oh, hold on. That's not good. Come on, software. Don't do this to me. You're making a laughing stock of this. First, the software was correct, and then all of a sudden,
CNN projects Joseph R. Biden Jr. is elected the 46th president of the United States, winning the White House and denying President Trump a second term. With this victory, Kamala Harris is set to become the first woman and the first person of color to be the vice president. Again, CNN projects Joe Biden will become the 46th president of the United States. And
President-elect of the United States, Biden is being called with the Pennsylvania votes that have just come in. Biden has been elected, Mika, and tell us about it.
Well, the president-elect of the United States, Joe Biden, has run for president 3 times, and the third time has turned out to be the charm. Not only the charm, but possibly the most consequential election of our lifetime.
The Fox News decision desk can now project that former Vice President Joe Biden will win Pennsylvania and Nevada, putting him over the 270 electoral votes he needs to become the 46th president of the United States.
Donald Trump, the 45th president of the United States, who stated in this process, I will never give up fighting for you and our nation, will be denied a second term. That has not happened since 1992 and President George H.W. Bush.
Let me hear you say Trump 2020 Trump 2020 Trump 2020 Trump.
A little bit jerky because the computer's processing at the end there because I did a little bit of editing on the fly. I don't know. I don't know if Hillary said anything or not. What do you hate? What do you hate, Joanna? You hate what I just edited together there? Sorry. I hope not. I'm doing it for you guys. I kind of want to put a tag on there with me. I'll do that later, but let me just process that because I'm happy with it. So, beep, you guys, if you hate it. Let me adjust the volume here. And let me adjust the volume here. take that down a little bit, take that down a little bit, and I will process that. Let me get it out of your way. You hate the Trump 2020 song? But it's F Trump. That's what the editing makes it. All right, I'm not sending this to you, Joanna. Here's Rudy.
Here. Kind of hard since he died 5 years ago, but Joe continues to vote. If I recall correctly, Joe was a Republican, so maybe I shouldn't complain. But we should go see if Joe is voting Republican or Democrat now from the grave. Also, Will Smith's father has voted here twice since he died. I don't know how he votes because his vote is secret. In Philadelphia, they keep the votes of dead people secret. At least that is something that you can be commended for. I'm not attacking the people of Philadelphia. I'm attacking a decrepit democratic machine, which has a lot of other reasons to be attacked. It's been around for 65 years. You keep electing the same people. The city gets no better. The crime goes way through the roof. The riots you have, the police stand by and watch it, not because of the police, because you have a mayor that lets them stand by and watch it. You got a district attorney who lets people go free.
Yeah, I got to capture Rudy doing this. Give me a second to do that. I'm going to bring this over here. I got to capture Rudy saying that they keep the dead people secret. Give me a second and start recording that.
Which has a lot of other reasons to be attacked. It's been around for 65 years. You keep electing the same people. The city gets no better. Since he died. I don't know how he votes because his vote is secret. In Philadelphia, they keep the votes of dead people secret. At least that is something that you can be commended for. I'm not attacking the people of Philadelphia.
Yes, you are.
I'm attacking mayors.
Yes, you are.
Mayors who let riots take place, district attorneys who set criminals free. I don't think they're going to care much about ballot fraud. This is outrageous. In an enormously important contest with a very, very suspect method of voting, there was no security. Zero. The people of this city, people of this country, have no assurance at all that those ballots were actually cast. They would have to have been almost unanimously cast for Joe Biden in order to catch up.
Yeah.
And let me have one or two of the people. Let me emphasize, this is only 2 or 3 of about 50 people so far that have given us statements, affidavits, recordings. We're going to have many, many witnesses. It's not a small case. It can be a big case. But I wanted you to get the flavor of it here in Philadelphia because we also have to alert the people of Pittsburgh that the same fraud was done to them as here.
I really don't care. Do you? By the way, these are not poll watchers. These are just Trumpers who showed up and demanded entrance to an already crowded room during a pandemic. That's primarily what this is.
And I'll also add...
I want to watch. Well, you have to stand back 6 feet. No, I need to be right in your face.
Same thing was done in Georgia. The same thing was done in Michigan. The same thing was done in North Carolina.
He's got documents.
Seems to me
true.
Somebody from the Democratic National Committee sent out a little note that said, don't let the Republicans look at those mail-in ballots. At least not in the big Democratic hack cities that we control. We've done a lot to destroy those cities, and now we're going to destroy their right to vote. So let's start off first. My friend, you just tell briefly what happened to you, who you are, and what happened to you like you described it before.
I am Daryl Brooks. I'm in Philadelphia. Okay.
Take your mask if you need. Take your mask off.
Okay, take it off.
Take your mask off.
Okay. All right. Daryl Brooks, Philadelphia resident. Here for about 2 years. I come out here to support our president, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to be on the go to the poll to watch. A lot of us were excited about the president winning a second term. And a lot of individuals, African Americans in Philadelphia, were, especially men, were talking about the 401k plan and how they were excited because their finances. So when I go to the poll, it was basically they put us at 20 feet away. And they said no cameras, no phones, you cannot take pictures.
That's the law. That's the law. You're not allowed to take pictures. You can have your phone in there. You can't actually use the phone to take pictures as a recording device.
I was even.
I mean, that's law and order. That's just the law in Pennsylvania and Michigan.
Asked by some of the Democratic Party poll watchers, and that is also recorded. And then next thing you know, it was 6 feet away. And they still would not allow us to see anything that was happening. We saw people working on the ballots, but we didn't know any names. We didn't see anything. We don't know if people voted twice or 3 times. We didn't know if people were dead people were voting. But we were there and we were watching. And it's such a shame. This is a democracy, Philadelphia, and they did not allow us to see anything. And was it corrupt or not? But give us the opportunity as poll watchers to view all the documents, all the ballots. And listen, you know, we just want a fair election. And we viewed that it was not fair at all. It was not fair to allow us to, you could allow us to look at the ballots, some ballots, but nothing. It was, we were kept away from everything.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Wendy, be careful with that.
Hello, I'm Matt Silver. I went for 16 hours straight poll watching. It took about 30, 45 minutes to get through, despite me having credentials of all possible manner. Eventually I showed an email proving that I was supposed to go in. They at least let me through. When I was there, I was...
Oh, okay, so you got in. Okay, go on.
Turned away for a tablet. They did not want any tablets or computers there.
Yeah,
I had to bring that elsewhere.
That's part of the law. Yeah.
Eventually, when I was let through,
yeah,
we were not able to get anywhere near the ballots. There were 3 rows of people counting ballots. The closest at my day, may have been 15 feet away. Then there was another row. Then there was another row. To the extent that you could see anything, we were told repeatedly, including by Democratic poll watchers, including by police, that if they see us taking a photograph or a video, we'll be thrown out and not let back in. The only place you could use a phone...
I mean, that's the law. Again, the law and order, right?
Several hundred feet away from the ballots. I don't know what they were trying to protect. When I was there...
Well, you're not allowed to take pictures of the ballots because that would risk... it. Anyway, we have voter secrecy in this country for a reason, especially, and this is true, with dead people.
People looking at the ballots legitimately. Some people were flipping through them at a rate of every second or so in a way that we specifically could not even see a single thing.
Hi, Anne-Marie.
To the extent that you could see a thing in certain boxes, I saw they seem to be, at least certain boxes, seem to be in the same unusual pen and seem to have very similar handwriting. Some boxes were normal, some boxes were like that. When they finished...
So this guy is now a handwriting analysis expert. I noticed that one of them dotted their hearts with an I, and then the next one dotted their hearts with an I. Never mind. I'm done with this.
Going through boxes, they put them in the very, very back of the room where you couldn't see a thing hundreds of feet away. Then they put supposedly the same boxes, I can't tell if they are or are not, through separate machines where they strip the ballots, the outer casing with people's signatures to the privacy ballot. At that point, the actual signatures are completely separate from the privacy ballot, and they'll never be able to be tracked back. What I saw was disturbing, and the process seemed to be specifically so we could not observe, and also so we could not challenge. The only way to challenge something was to call an individual called Seth, who was in the back of the room, who could speak to people. And again...
Oh my God, was it Seth Meyers? That's what it... The Democrats have total...
They were very worried about photographs and videos.
How were you chosen?
I was asked both by my local ward and the Republican National Lawyers Association. I responded to both. I was willing to do so. There was some type of vetting process, including my bar number,
An individual named Seth. If that's not trending by noon, I'm disappointed with Twitter.
And I guess my credentials, and then I was accepted.
And you're an attorney, right?
I am an attorney.
Where did you file a complaint initially when you saw this behavior happening? Who did you go to?
I asked the individuals in the group who were the most senior, and again,
We'll take questions later. When you moved 6 feet closer, as far as you knew, was that?
It wasn't 6 feet closer. There's no 6 feet closer that happened at all. It was 6 feet away from the ballots. Okay, because 6 feet, we got something going on called the coronavirus. 132,000 new cases yesterday. New cases, and the CDC, Trump's CDC says 6 feet. It's not 6 feet closer to anything. Fuck, Rudy's an idiot.
Based on a court order?
I assume it was a court order. In no case was I closer than 15 feet to anyone counting.
Did they move 6 feet further away?
The closest row for me was 15, 20 feet away. Then there was another row 15, 20 feet beyond that counting, then another 15, 20 beyond that. The only thing I could see at all was the row closest to me.
Okay. And again, how were you selected?
Selected by the Philadelphia Republican Party.
And credentialed by them?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And we'll have one. Lizette, would you speak for the other group?
So these are not, I was incorrect before. These are not people that just decided they were going to show up and monitor the election. These are actual certified by the Republican Party as official poll watchers. And basically their complaint is we had to be 6 feet away during a pandemic. That seems to be what's going on here.
That were not allowed access, which is another category. Would you mind?
Not at all, thank you.
See if I can get this down a little.
I'll stand on my.
See if we can get this. See, I'll bring this. I don't have a mask on, and you're maskless right now. I'll see if I can get as close to your face as possible. Could you help me tuck in my pants?
It is.
Want me to hold you up?
Good morning. Thanks for being here. I'm Lisette Tarragano. I'm a longtime resident of Philadelphia. T as in Thomas, A-R-R-A-G.
A-R-E-N. K as in Karen, A-R-E.
E-A-N-O.
Carano?
I am a longtime resident of Philadelphia, although not native. And
oh, well then you're completely disqualified from having an opinion because you weren't born there. So this Karen is the Karen of too much information. I can tell you that right away. Just give me some. She's me. I'll admit it.
Quite frankly, I've always been about. I'm a retired attorney.
Okay.
And
quite frankly, I've always been about fairness. I'm a retired. All right. Do you have a point? I know, and what I'm doing is belaboring this process. I get that, but I'm enjoying it, and that's the key takeaway. Judges agree.
I got really, really hepped up about watching voter freedom of speech, and being able to say the words Donald Trump without getting pushed in the corner. And when I really got excited about being asked to observe ballots, was when I felt that my way of life is being put in jeopardy.
Okay, well, at least she's not making it about herself.
American way of life, being put down for things I say, who I like, and it's not fair. I'm the child and granddaughter of both Holocaust victims and survivors.
Oh,
and I'm
okay.
the daughter of a World War II veteran, and who fought for and or ran away.
Yeah. What was your favorite toy for Christmas?
From horrible.
Oh, wait, sorry, Hanukkah.
Horrible times where people are repressed and sent away. And what I noticed when I was brought in to be a poll watcher, I was never brought in, actually. I never got past the first identification stage. They kept saying that mine, as well as 5 or 6 other Republicans, their names hadn't been entered into the system.
Okay.
And after the first time it happened, the second time it happened, I was...
Just going to go out on a limb here. Maybe that's because the Republican Party, Trump's Republican Party, didn't enter their names into the... what you'd call the system. Maybe that's why. Maybe.
Had no second thoughts about it being a problem, more that somebody failed to finger us into the computer system.
Whoa! Whoa! I did not know that was coming, and I should have bleeped that out. I apologize to all the children watching right now. Fingers in the system. That's my new pickup line. Hey, how you doing? You want to be fingered into the system? This is candy wrappers, by the way. Fingered into the system.
What I witnessed, and I said to Mr. Giuliani before, in a morbid curiosity, staring at, I felt insidious fraud going on. I felt that we were kept away from doing our civil duty. That was everybody on both parties should be upset about. This is horrible. We're being restricted. We're being restrained. And I see this nothing as the insidious nature of the Philadelphia and Pennsylvania governments who are keeping us away from doing what we were meant to do.
Thank you.
Well,
the other 1, 2, 3
are here with me today.
The other 3 here are also poll watchers who were deprived of their opportunity to even go into the room. I could have brought. I'm getting a list now to count.
I mean, if you're not allowed to poll watch, honestly, being fingered is the next best thing. I mean, let's just
them. I could have brought about 50 with me, but I didn't do it for 2 reasons. 50 is too many. Number 2, they're afraid. They're afraid of being publicly identified. They're willing to testify in court. They're afraid there'll be repercussions against them because one of the people that did speak on television.
Hold on.
They're afraid of being publicly identified. They're willing to testify in court.
Oh, they are willing to testify in court. Popular vote right now is about 4 million. It'll end up probably being 6 to 7 million.
There'll be repercussions against them because
California takes forever to count. They won't be done until mid-December-ish. So we won't have a popular vote actual total probably until about December 18th, 19th, 20th, somewhere in that window.
One of the people that did speak on television has already had threats. Jeremy Mercer, who was in charge, has already given.
Karen did feel that something.
A statement twice, both here in Philadelphia, the day after the election, I believe, and then he was interviewed on television. Jeremy will basically corroborate the statements that were given about the fact that he was there for 21 hours and then again for another couple of hours. He believes about 300,000 ballots went through. He was unable to see any of them. He requested an opportunity to do so numerous times. Then they went to court. They got an order that they could be 6 feet closer. They were put 6 feet closer, and the tables they were observing were put at least 6 feet further away, or the people moved to tables that were further in the back.
Again, there's no 6 feet closer. There's a 6 foot boundary. There's nobody was moved 6 foot. There's 6 feet down. He completely miscomprehending the situation.
The other witnesses who we've interviewed, and we've interviewed about half of the 50, all corroborate to a T exactly what you see here. That they thought they were going to show up to do an inspection. Some of them had inspected absentee ballots before, where you're shown the ballot. The Republican is shown the ballot. The Democrat is shown the ballot. Neither objects, you put it in. If either objects, you put it aside for discussion later. Nothing like that happened here at all. This is a gross miscarriage of the process that would assure that these ballots are not fraudulent. It's a fraud, an absolute fraud. I mean, you can't just submit these ballots and not have them checked. They're highly suspect ballots, mail-in ballots. It's also highly suspect because it's almost mathematically impossible, several people have already testified, to close the lead that Biden closed when things closed on Tuesday night. President Trump was ahead by almost 800,000 votes.
Yeah.
And it took a couple of days to be able to produce enough ballots to bring it down.
All those ballots
existed. Could some of those ballots have been manufactured in advance by the Democrat machine of Philadelphia? Wouldn't be the first time they did it. And then
here's what they resort to. It's important to ask these questions. There's no actual evidence, but we should ask these questions. It's important for our democracy to ask: could those ballots have been manufactured in advance by the Democrat? Yes, yes, 600,000 ballots. They could have gone to 600,000 mailboxes and stolen 600,000 ballots and then faked 600,000 signatures.
Can I play something?
What?
Can I make noise for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you on camera?
Yeah. Start to say good morning, USA.
Okay.
Thank you. That's the future right there.
Fuck Trump, bitches.
Whoa. Who taught you that?
Love is love is love is love. Blue wins. Bye.
And she's wearing blue. Okay. So, sorry for that interruption, people. I can't, you know.
I'm not.
Kids, she's not. I don't know where she gets it.
Exactly why didn't they want the ballots inspected?
Oh yeah, I was going to show you guys this. Hold on, we got to edit. We got to edit a little bit of Rudy here. I forget now what I even captured. Let's watch the Rudy, and we'll edit him here together, shall we? Let's go back. I'm having a good day so far. How about you? This is probably the best Saturday in 2020. I'm going to say that right up.
Which has a lot of other reasons to be attacked.
Yeah.
It's been around for 65 years. You keep electing the same people. The city gets no better.
Yeah.
Since he died. I don't know how he votes because his vote is secret.
Start here.
In Philadelphia, they keep the votes of dead people secret.
I think that's plenty. I think that's all we need out of that. Thank you for your time, people. I will bring you right back to the press conference.
If the ballots are legitimate, it would seem to me, knowing the suspicion that would exist on a political machine like this, with the reputation that it has, you would go to the extra extent to be transparent. Instead, they went to an extra extent to be secretive, as did the Democrat Party in pretty much the cities they control as a machine like this one. Because although we don't have as many complaints yet, we've got about 12 in Atlanta, we've got about 15 in Detroit, we've got about 20 more in the rest of Michigan. I would say in at least 10 states now, we have complaints almost exactly like this. This will be a statewide case because there are 300,000 ballots equally in question in Pittsburgh with witnesses similar to these witnesses. In some cases, they actually saw a little bit more that would suggest that the ballots were being tampered with. But I have to wait until they're all fully debriefed.
What would it take at this point for President Trump to concede, number one? Number two,
Bernie?
Number two, Mr. Giuliani, what evidence, concrete evidence, can you point to that the ballots themselves, not the people who are watching, but that the ballots themselves are being tampered with? Or personally, possible concession?
Well, let me first of all, obviously he's not going to concede when at least 600,000 ballots are in question. It's not my job to determine if the ballots are right or not. It's their job. But with a mail-in ballot or an absentee ballot, the burden under law is on the party that's proposing it, which is why it has to be inspected. It's not my. How can I possibly tell you there's fraud or no fraud? The way they conducted themselves. Because it looks, I can't tell you exactly what's on the ballot. They conducted themselves in a way that suggests that there was fraud. One of the things...
It's their job to prove that they're not committing fraud.
...that does involve fraud is not making it possible for the people who are supposed to inspect. That's a fraud. That's a fraud on the voters. The voters expect that their inspectors are going to be able to inspect. The voters were defrauded of that right. We will not know if those 600,000 ballots were valid, invalid, or not. Having conducted themselves that way, they certainly present a very strong circumstantial case.
You know what else was a very strong circumstantial case? You, in the Borat movie. Might want to check that out.
That the ballots were tampered with. Also, the highly unusual, almost mathematically impossible reduction in the...
Oh, that's very sweet, Ruth Ann. Biden's son, Beau, died at the age of 46, and Joe will be the 46th president of the United States. He will actually be the 55th president of the United States, but we don't talk about that. It's true.
The vote in that period of time also raises the question that the ballots were tampered with. So they've done everything they can to yell out to you we were tampering with the ballots without being stupid enough to show it to you. They kept our inspectors away. They kept our inspectors away uniformly. I don't think we're going to find a single Republican that ever got to look at one of those ballots when the law requires that we are allowed to look at them. They did it here, and they did it in Pittsburgh. That can't be a coincidence. How do they figure out in Pittsburgh they should do the same thing that happened here? And they didn't do it in other places. I'm sorry. I'm going to ask Corey Lewandowski to explain his experience.
Oh, this just gets better. Oh, God, please let Eric be there. Hold on. Corey's going to explain things.
Now,
womp, womp.
Well, I appreciate you being here today. Let me just give you...
I'm just here. Did someone order a pizza? Yeah, I'm the plumber. Someone got some plumbing issues. Heard somebody needed to get fingered in.
One concrete example, not anecdotal, but concrete example of what we believe to be
it's going to be anecdotal.
Valid voter fraud in the state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I draw your attention to an obituary listed for one Denise Ondish in Allegheny County.
Yeah.
Born 9/10/1946.
Right.
Deceased 10/22/2020.
Right.
Her application to vote was received on 10/23, the day after she died.
Right.
It was then mailed by the county back to her on 10/24/2020.
Got it.
2 days after she had legally passed away.
Yeah.
And the ballot was then received.
You don't have to legally pass away. You pass away. It's legal. You're dead. But anyway, let's move on.
Back at the county office on November 2nd, 2020. And when you go to the Secretary of State's website today, it says that she voted in this election effective November 2nd, 2020, a full 9 days after Miss Ondish of Allegheny County passed away. This is not, excuse me, this is not empirical, this is not anecdotal. This is hard evidence, and if you do your jobs from the media, I'm sure you'll find additional examples, and this will be one.
I can tell you what happened there. Number one, she probably had a ballot already, sent it in her confusion because it hadn't arrived there because Philadelphia was only getting about 67% of its mail delivered on time thanks to President Trump's appointment of Louis DeJoy to the U.S. Postal Service. She probably thought her ballot was then missing and so requested a new ballot. I would have to look at that name. Number two, it could be somebody else with the same name. Did we catch that name? It's Denise Ondish. It's always the Denises that cause the problems, isn't it? I'm sorry. Karens, you're off the hook. From now on, it's Denises. I know there's several Denises watching. I was married to a Denise. Let's go back and just check out. Let's fact check this story live together.
Of Allegheny, November 2nd, 2020.
Yeah.
A full 9 days after Miss Ondish of Allegheny County passed away.
Any guesses how to spell that? Somebody want to look up? Somebody be a fact checker for me. Look up Ondish County Elections Office. And we may be able to find online that poll there. Sometimes they have the things listed publicly. Sometimes they don't. So let's see if somebody can find Denise Ondish, Allegheny County. That's Pittsburgh.
Hey, this is not, excuse me, this is not empirical. This is not anecdotal. This is hard.
Yeah, we just have a question. Excuse me. This is a press conference. We're the press. Can we just, excuse me. Oh! This is pretty. Hold on. Womp womp. Yeah, I just want to thank you so much for coming here today. I didn't receive my delivery of milk for the past 3 mornings, and I'm just wondering, what was your name? Corey. Do you spell that with an E, or just so I can, when I'm writing the Yelp review?
Hard evidence, and if you do your jobs from the media, I'm sure you'll find additional examples. And this will be
What's your job, Corey? Oh, that's right. You were let go from the campaign.
one of many that we will be filing with the court. Thank you very much.
You don't want to do the marijuana, kids, and I'll tell you why. Because pretty soon you find yourself hepped up on the heroin and you're breaking into cars and your mother dies. And then she votes.
Also,
that was Corey Lewandowski not taking questions. He just walked away.
Also,
yeah.
When you say that there's no evidence, the people standing...
I don't know about you guys. I'm having the time of my life this morning. This is good times. Celebrating times. Come on. Do, 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 do. Come on. Do, 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 do.
The people standing behind me are called witnesses. They will...
That's one thing you could call them. I have a number of other names you could call them, too.
Eventually, soon hopefully, appear in court and give this testimony, because we're going to file a federal lawsuit that will cover here and Pittsburgh, and we will have as many witnesses as the court needs. Right now, it could be as many as 90 witnesses. That's called evidence that there was a uniform deprivation of the right to inspect, which constitutes a fraud on the people of Pennsylvania, constitutes a fraud on all legitimate voters. Any illegitimate vote cancels a legitimate vote. And the burden of proof as to whether it's a legitimate ballot or not when it's a mail-in ballot is on the person proposing the ballot, because there's no other way to justify it. Well, they made it impossible to view those ballots, and there can be only one conclusion as to why you would make it so impossible. Because many, many of them were fraudulent. And you just don't lose leads like that without corruption. And you're in a city in which voter fraud is professional. It's not just amateur. Some places may be amateurs at voter fraud. Philadelphia is a professional place for voter fraud because you have a decrepit Democrat machine that you have had in power for 60 years, and it's the reason why you have voter fraud. It's the reason why you have so much crime. It's the reason why you're leading the country in some categories of crime, because these people are not helping the people of Philadelphia. Their loyalty is to the Democrat Party. Oh, please, please. I'll answer 3 questions, one at a time.
What did he expect at a press conference? Oh, please, please, please. Can you wait for me to get my mic on? Just felt very Jeffrey Toobin for a moment there.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. Wiener? Sorry, I didn't understand that. Wiener?
Hold on. I got to capture that and just use that out of context as much as possible. Give me a second here. I'm not going to show you guys this because it'll be back in a second. Give me one moment. Capturing and...
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. Wiener? Who is a winner or a cheater? Oh, is he a winner or a cheater? Well, that's what we want to find out. We have a right. I mean, here's what I can say about this evidence. This evidence is overpowering in that it suggests we need a very, very detailed hearing. We have to find out exactly how many ballots are implicated, how many ballots were not inspected.
I thought it was Borat for a second, too. Yeah, no, she was saying, is it a winner or a loser? Winner or a loser? Or, sorry, so she's saying winner or a cheater? A winner or a cheater is what she was actually asking.
The estimates I have so far, but we haven't finished this investigation, is there was about 150 to 200,000 ballots here and about 300,000 ballots in Pittsburgh. It may be more, it may be less. Now, that's very serious because the margin of victory after being behind by 800,000 was only about 40,000. And it's a little odd that every vote...
We're not done counting.
...from Tuesday on was all for the one candidate. There's also a very strange thing that happened, which will be part of our case. At some point during the process, when the lead of President Trump reduced from something like 50,000 to 30,000, at the time it was at 50,000, 94% of the vote had been cast. And when we got to 30,000, it was only 90% of the vote cast. Now, I can get experts to tell you how that happens. That happens because, think about it, you increase the denominator.
I've thought about it. Yeah, but because of the provisional ballots. They hadn't been including the provisional ballots in the count, but the provisional ballots likely favoring Trump could be favoring Biden. But anyway, that because Trump said, if you cast your ballot and it hasn't been counted, then go down and vote on Election Day. That's what he told people to do. And so his supporters, having not had their mail-in ballot counted, because Pennsylvania could not legally count it before Election Day thanks to the GOP in Pennsylvania, went down to fill out the provisional ballots. And suddenly there's 100,000 provisional ballots that nobody had mentioned before. So that's what happened.
What do you increase the denominator with? New ballots. Nobody was informed of new ballots. Unless...
I mean, you literally were. That's what we were just... Anyway.
People were writing them up. This will be a very, very strong case. And I know you won't accept it because of your hateful biases, but let's see if you can try thinking rationally.
Wow, that's the way to get on the press's side.
The poll? Because they don't decide the election. The call for Joe Biden is it? Who was it called by? Oh my goodness, all the networks. Wow. All the networks. We have to forget about the law. Judges don't count. All the networks thought Biden was going to win by 10%. Gee, what happened? Come on, don't be ridiculous. Networks don't get to decide elections. I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. Courts do.
Wait, what did he just say?
Of course, courts set aside.
I was listening to the Wiener comment, which, that's what I'm going to be listening to. Hold on. What did he say about who gets to decide elections?
All the networks thought Biden was going to win by 10%.
Oh, the networks don't get
what
to.
Happened?
Okay.
Come on, don't be ridiculous. Networks don't get to decide elections. Courts do.
Yep, voters do. Voters get to decide elections, Rudy. That's how democracy works. Wow.
Of course, courts set aside elections when they're illegal. In this particular case, I don't know if there's enough evidence to set aside the entire election. Certainly not around the country, maybe in Pennsylvania.
I do. There's not.
However, there certainly is enough evidence to disqualify a certain number of ballots. The ballots that were not properly inspected should be thrown out. And that number of ballots should be taken out of the count. That could affect the election. Shh. Shh. I can't hear two people at once. I'm sorry.
So point at somebody, Rudy, and say, you in the hat with the press badge. I hesitated because there's actually a name for that little insert that says press on it.
That's a whole new issue. That's a whole new issue that we're just developing. Seems to be a significant number of ballots, and there seems to be a significant number of, I shouldn't say significant. There seem to be 3 or 4 very credible witnesses that there was backdating going on, and there are direct witnesses for that.
That's just beautiful. We gotta watch that again.
That's a whole new issue that we're just developing. Seems to be a significant number of ballots, and there seems to be a significant number of, I shouldn't say significant. There seem to be 3 or 4 very credible witnesses that there was backdating going on, and there are direct witnesses for that. But
Three or four witnesses. I shouldn't say significant. No, you should not.
Sure, you'll call that not.
I got to capture that, guys. Sorry, here, I'll bring you in on the capture too. We can all watch it again together. Here we go, kids. Hold on. By the way, you're watching the live stream. This is what we've been doing for the past, since the coronavirus, really. We get together. We watch the Trump idiocy or the Trumpidicy. I can't do it. I can't make a portmanteau out of that. Here we go. Let's watch. I got to record this, and here we go.
Evidence.
Let's go back.
To be a development.
He's scratching his head.
That's a whole new issue. That's a whole new issue that we're just developing. Seems to be a significant number of ballots, and there seems to be a significant number of, I shouldn't say significant. There seem to be 3 or 4 very credible witnesses that there was backdating going on, and there are direct witnesses for that. But I'm sure you'll call that not evidence. Not you, the general mob.
Your Honor, I would like to request a new court-appointed lawyer. My lawyer just cross-examined himself in real time. By the way, Rudy works for free for Trump. He works for Trump for free. This is all pro boner. Don't laugh. It only encourages me.
Yes. Yes.
Can you walk us through, that process for us laymen who?
Sure. Simple.
Are you expecting us to go to the Supreme Court? I'll let you take it from there.
Thank you, sir. I can be a law professor. The case that we would file, many cases are going to be filed. Some big, some small. This is going to be eventually a big case because it will go beyond Pennsylvania. But right now, the case is a civil rights case.
Will it be significant?
Filed in federal court. I'm sorry. It'll be filed in federal court. You could file it here or Pittsburgh. That'll be the choice of our lawyer who's looking at it now. Since there seem to be more cases in Pittsburgh than here right now, I would guess it would be filed in Pittsburgh, but it would affect both jurisdictions. And what the case alleges is very simply that President Trump's campaign was denied its right to a fair count, which is a deprivation of civil rights. And if that's the case, the court has a wide range of what are called equitable remedies. Equitable remedies could include depriving that jurisdiction of a certain number of votes, equal to the number of votes that are proved to be not inspected properly. It could be to set aside an election, but that could be one of the things we ask for, but I think that if you set aside the votes, you would probably remedy the wrong that was done here. Now, it could turn out as we go beyond Pittsburgh and we go beyond Philadelphia, and we have a little bit of evidence elsewhere in another Democratic part of the state that the same thing was going on, that it might spread to there. Where I do see it spreading, however, is sometime next week, unless I'm wrong, I think there'll be a similar case in Atlanta where similar things were going on. Republican inspectors showed up. They expected to inspect, right, like they do for absentee ballots, and they were uniformly kept out. They got to see nothing. And remember, Atlanta had to do the same thing you had to do. They had to catch Biden up because on election night he had lost. And he was down by a very good margin with only 85% to go. Something very similar happened in Michigan, Wisconsin, can't say Arizona, but in almost every state where President Trump had a lead going into the end of election night, some of the leads looking almost mathematically impossible to undo with the 5%, 10%, 20% of the vote. In almost all of those, this practice was followed. And I'm right now trying to find, did we get to see any ballots that were used for that purpose? If that's the case, then we have a massive nationwide lawsuit. So it could affect more than one state. But right now, the one that it definitely affects the state of Pennsylvania in a very, very big way. But it's not the only infirmity in this state. There are dead people voting, no question about it. We get any...
There are no dead people voting. No dead person has ever voted. That is not a thing.
Number of complaints of that. We have a very serious problem with backdating of ballots, including 4 witnesses now who are testifying to that. Whether that becomes part of this lawsuit or it's something separate, that isn't developed as fast as this has. One last question.
In charge of elections in Pennsylvania are saying that they don't see any evidence of widespread voter fraud. So if the Republicans in charge of some of these counties who are doing this vote counting are saying there's no evidence of that, why is there a discrepancy between the people actually in charge of that and the Trump campaign?
Well, that's like comparing apples and oranges, isn't it? They're not in charge of Philadelphia. How would... I'm glad they didn't see widespread fraud. That was in Republican counties. I don't think there was fraud in Republican counties.
Right here in Philly, I have spoken to a Republican commissioner.
Right here in Philly, I have spoken to a Republican commissioner
who is absolutely clear that he and other Republicans were able
that is absolutely clear that he and other Republicans were able to
watch the count here
and to watch the count here and...
Well, then let him come and tell me that. I haven't found one who's willing to tell me that. Let him give me an affidavit under oath, under penalty of perjury. You're telling me these people are lying?
No, not at all. And I was going to say, I'm not disrespecting what they are.
Well, I've spoken to about 50 people.
So the media's already interviewed several people who were in there inspecting for both sides. And you can see on the live stream, a lot of these, I don't know specifically in Philadelphia or not, but there are live streams of a lot of these counting rooms where you can see there's a number of people in there. Some of them are wearing Trump hats.
I have statements from 25. We've spoken to 50. Every single inspector. No. I didn't speak to them. Are you the lawyer for the other side, by the way? Well, you should get paid for it. The reality is that nobody has come forward, even though I've called the state party, the city party. I've asked, is there anyone that wants to come forward and say that there's anything unusual about the man in charge of this whole process, who watched the whole thing, has already come forward and given us a signed statement that no one got a chance to inspect. Now, unless this man had a secret opportunity to do it, there was one person in charge of all these people. He was there constantly for both days.
Was it Seth?
Not a single Republican got a chance to view a single ballot. Now, if we got to view 10 or 12, well...
Simply not true. That's according to everything that from the people. Unless there's a bunch of fake witnesses that are now talking to the media saying, I'm a Republican and I was in the room.
Then we'll reduce our number from 120,000 to 110,000. But you produced this man for me. So far, he hasn't come out of the woodwork. And
prove that the crime isn't happening. That's the way America works.
Well, then, maybe, yeah. Well, if I were the commissioner of this city, I don't think I would admit that I didn't allow people to do this. I mean, there was last time a Republican played ball with Democrats like that in New Jersey. He went to jail for...
Also, if I was committing crime, I wouldn't admit that I was committing crime. So, yeah.
10 years. Thank you.
This is an independent chat, is what this is. You're welcome to express your viewpoint. Okay, so that's that. Let's go back before we head out here.
Period.
What? Hold on. Dag nabbit, I shouldn't have closed that right then. Let's go back into it. I think Karen was saying something else. Let's see if we can pick up on that. Let's see. This is Mark Meadows from yesterday. Let me go to my history and hope that pops up right away. Okay, and... Oh, come on. Where is it? Oh, you know why? Because it was on... Was it on this? Yeah, I think we watched it on this. And let's go to history. So hopefully we can pick it up right where we left off. I don't know if YouTube's going to cooperate with us. Oh, hold on. Something retained shape. That sounds good. Here we go. Oh, no. So this is after. Oh, there's that right side broadcasting interviews people afterwards. Hold on, let's go right to the end of Rudy walking away.
To watch. Period.
Oh, hold on.
We were not allowed in to watch. Period.
Okay, so yeah, and there were issues with capacity in a lot of these rooms as well. Control-Shift-T to open up your previous tab. I didn't know that, Brennan. Thank you. So, right side's about to do some interviews here.
You heard.
No masks.
All right, guys, you heard it. Rudy Giuliani laying out a very clear case, in my opinion, of what the Trump team expects to do at this point. It's very interesting how
clearly he brought his daughter with him, which is awesome. I support that 100%. We just had Kevinly's daughter on the broadcast.
Response we get from the media in regards to this, I feel like they spend more time discrediting the claims than actually investigating it.
Yep. The media wants to be the litigators. They want to be
okay. More time discrediting the claims instead of actually investigating them. You discredit them by investigating them. I never realized how easy David's job was at Snopes until right now when Right Side explains it. You just discredit them. Just there. Nope, that's debunked.
The defense for the other side. Let's get that clear. The mainstream media is not our friend. There's not one Republican outlet that will have Republicans' backs. There's not one outlet, period, that will have Republicans' backs, that will have conservatives' backs.
Because the virus is over in Philadelphia. They're Trumpers. Trumpers don't wear. By the way, check out my Twitter feed at KevinlyFather this morning. There's an article done by the AP News that shows that the counties where the virus is ramping up in an uncontrolled manner, those are viruses. They are viruses. Those are counties that heavily voted for Trump, overwhelmingly. Go figure. The people that like Trump are catching the coronavirus. Because look at them right there. None of them are wearing masks.
That will have Americans' backs, because that's what we are. We are Americans. They are a pit of snakes, the mainstream media, and that is why Right Side Broadcast Network is here today.
Absolutely. You heard a lot of questions from the media here, and a lot of it was very vicious, instead of getting...
So if anyone has some jobs available, I don't know, painting or lying on the microphone, whatever it is, these folks are going to be looking for work.
To the bottom of it, it was almost disclaiming what he was saying.
Yeah, and I know Mr. Giuliani actually asked one of the reporters asking a question, are you working as a lawyer for the other side? Because, these questions, they're just, again, like you said, trying to undermine the legal process right now. And they're just trying to discredit instead of going out and actually finding truth to the claims or not, proving to the American people whether or not this was a fair election.
And we heard several claims from a lot of volunteers that oversight the election here. And of course, they all stated they were pushed back 6 feet when the table was moved 6 feet forward. And it seems like if you've got nothing to hide, why does...
now, this is a completely different interpretation of what Rudy was even saying. So it's a comprehension issue. I swear to God, there is a good segment of the Trump population, and on the left as well, that just have comprehension issues. And when you've got that filter, you don't hear the words and what they actually mean. You just interpret them to mean whatever it is you want them to mean. I don't know if that's in the DSM-5 or 6, but it should be.
Why wouldn't Joe Biden want to be as transparent with what happened? Why wouldn't both sides want to be transparent to what happened? Why is it the Trump team that's got to consistently try to find out exactly what happened here?
Absolutely.
Yeah, why wouldn't Joe Biden be contesting this election? Why not? I can't. Can anyone help me with that, guys?
I don't know if there's much more to add. You basically have broke it all down. interesting day in American politics. We'll see what happens as the days move forward, how Team Trump and the Trump campaign litigate this election fraud that they believe has happened.
Why are there 3 of them there? I mean, I know that's a daddy-daughter thing, but is this a whole family? This could be my family right here.
And we will continue to bring you coverage of everything, and of course, always do it with truth and integrity.
No comments on Twitter from Trump yet.
And give you live uninterrupted coverage of Trump events as they go forward.
Absolutely. If you're just joining us,
live uninterrupted coverage of Trump events. Yeah, you guys are out of a job. For that matter, so am I, and I'm okay with it. I'm perfectly happy if the live stream is shut down. Where's the logo? Here it is right here. This is from our friend Chris Wilson, who supports the broadcast not only with 38 cents. Hi, welcome from France. We were just finishing up the broadcast and we froze. The software froze on my end. Okay, so we're back. Okay, so we're back up on YouTube. Hopefully you can see we got a bunch of 17s. Thank you. That's what I was waiting for. I was actually looking for someone to actually spell out the word 17, but a few lazy asses can't even be bought. I don't know why I do this. Let's get right back to this is Right Side Broadcasting, who's about to be out of business.
Wrapped up a press conference here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as the Trump team, the legal team came forward to lay out their plans to challenge a lot of this in the courts. And of course, we are off now back to Arch Street and 12th Street, right outside the convention center, as at about 12 o'clock, I'm sure it's already kicked off by now, a Trump rally planned there. We will bring all that content to you uninterrupted, as we always do. And as always, for more information, go to our Facebook page, go to our YouTube page, subscribe, like, share for friends, because this is a historical moment.
I mean, I wouldn't mind donating a little bit of money to Right Side, because they've been actually very informative through this whole process. Let's go to Right Side right here, and let's see what they're broadcasting is. President Trump, what? Watch live. President Trump, what? Holds Make America Great rally in Sanford, Florida. 10/12. Oh, they're doing reruns. Okay. Upcoming live stream. This is just a chat. Scheduled for 9:55 p.m. So, okay. So here's some protests outside Philadelphia. This was streamed yesterday. I'm not even interested. Okay, let's go back to the networks here and see if anything's going on. Okay, let's go see. There should be some crying happening over on Fox, depending on who is doing what there. No, this looks like a regular day. This is programming. Yeah, haircut. Enough. Don't mention it again. Yes, God, I need a haircut. I get it. Hopefully that happens this weekend, and it might not. I don't know. I'm up for another part. Okay, go ahead. Anybody? No? Nothing? Weekends with Alex Witt? Oh, wait, is that Rachel Maddow from home? Are we about to see Rachel Maddow Rachel Maddow from her quarantine? Come on. Come on, internets. Come on, join live. I'd like to see Rachel react. I think it is. I think that's Rachel. With her glasses on. She didn't bother putting in the contacts today. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, internets. 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 I might have to plug in manually here, guys, because it's not being cooperative. Here we go. There it is.
So that's right.
Okay, and we'll back up just a little bit. There's Rachel. I do want to watch this. What's going on? Oh, what's this crowd doing? Oh, that's outside the White House. People saying goodbye. Okay.
I should also say that.
Oh, crap. We're going to have riots in Washington tonight. D.C., by the way.
I'm also hearing from these people who have worked so hard on the campaign, many of them union members who have gone door to door, about Kamala Harris. One of the union leaders I talked to said she actually worked for
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on Right Side Broadcasting. We are in sunny Central Florida, where President Trump...
who thought we're moving into a new era, that this was going to be a
breakthrough. We love you too,
for
France.
women. Of course, that didn't happen. Didn't happen with Hillary Clinton. But now, as I'm hearing from a lot of the women electeds, they're saying to me, there are girls all across the country who are now looking and saying, this is what's possible for me. And finally, I would just remind you, Lawrence, about what happened on Election Day. Joe Biden made 4 stops in his childhood city of Scranton, and he went to his childhood home. And on the wall of the living room, for the new owners of that home, he wrote, from this house to the White House, with the grace of God, signed it and wrote 11/3/2020. 4 days later, he is the
4 days later, the occupants of the house discovered it and said, "What the hell? Did you do that? Stacy, where is Stacy? Stacy, get in here. Did you? Don't you lie to mommy. Do not lie to mommy. Did you do?"
President-elect of the United States, and Democrats in Pennsylvania are thrilled. They are celebrating that it happened here. Lawrence?
Chris Jansing in Harrisburg, thank you. And we are now joined by a special guest who has been leading our election coverage all week. MSNBC's Rachel Maddow, of course, the host of the Rachel Maddow Show. And Rachel, I was so sure you were going to get to make this announcement to the nation of the projected win.
If he signed that wall in Sharpie, mwah.
Winner of this election. What was it like at home when you got the word?
I'm at home. I'm in COVID quarantine. Everything's bizarre and fraught. But I'll tell you what I was doing is I had accidentally...
This sliding barn door in the back of her room right here, in her, wherever she is, possibly living room, that is exactly how I pictured Rachel Maddow's living room.
Upended my 3-hole punch that I used to make my research binder for election night all over my bedroom, and I was dust busting up the little holes that fell out of the 3-hole punch when it happened. And I thought, I'm not sure this is the way I ever imagined that I would learn that Donald Trump is a one-term president, but I'll take it. So I was dust busting at the time.
Rachel, I have to tell you, Staples does have 3-hole punch paper, which I'm going to send you, so you don't need that anymore. But Rachel, you were guiding us through this coverage all week, this unprecedented week of coverage in this election. You've had to quarantine because you were exposed to COVID, but have tested negative so far, and so
That's
we're
right.
expecting you back soon. You look great. You look healthy. We saw this coming. It was a slow march. It was a test of patience all around, in a way.
I know she literally had a confetti celebration without meaning to. Her 3-hole punch. So tired of putting together Rachel binders on a nightly basis. It's just like, finally. Probably thinks her job is over. She's like, I never have to make another binder.
Of media patience as people started to wonder, why are they taking so long both to count the votes, and then why are they taking so long to project what seemed inevitable? And yet there's something in this period that feels somehow necessary. It feels somehow like the ramp the country needed to get to here.
Yeah, I've been
you guys know, though, we're not done with this, right? We've got 2.5 months of Trump insisting that the election isn't over.
Thinking about that myself, too, that there's been so much frustration. And as time went on, there was increasingly public lobbying, including by influential people, that, the calls should be made, the calls should be made. I find it very comforting that, at NBC News, just like all the major networks that make these calls and the Associated Press, they are not susceptible to lobbying, and they don't listen to people like you and me, and they don't listen to
guys. I've been saving a tweet. I had it in my draft folder. I've been saving this tweet for this moment, and I will share with you guys the actual tweeting of my draft that I've had for a while here. Here it is right here. I'm so happy with this. Hold on. The tweet itself. Hold on. Let me save it. Let me get out of there. There we go. Here's the tweet. I want to make sure that you guys can see it. There it is. You guys get a preview of the tweet I've been saving for a couple of months for this election. And it is sent. But the boat parades. There were so many. How could he lose? Boat parades. There were I think you guys get it.
carping at them about when they think the decision should be made. It's a deliberate, rigorous, independent process, and nobody can mess with it for ill or for good, and that's the way it should be. That's also what the...
I'm not even listening to Rachel anymore. I'm just making up songs in my head and drumming along to them. There's not even a tune. I'm just happy.
Count is like, and to see those, I mean, for TV purposes, those boring shots that we had of the counting going on in Philadelphia and the counting going on in Detroit and the counting going on every place else that we had a static camera in the corner of some big warehouse room while those poll workers diligently did the boring work of getting those things done. That's the way it's supposed to be done. Election administration is technocratic. It is not susceptible to threat, intimidation, bluster, cajoling, or pleading. And that is right. And I wanted it to go faster just like everybody else did. But I take comfort in the process. And, you know, the Republican governors in some of the states that were late to be called or yet to be called, for the Republican governors in those states to come out and say, listen, the count is going to be the count, and we're going to defend the integrity of the voting process in our state, and don't mess with us and don't mess with our election workers. To hear that coming equally from Democrats and Republicans, even as the Republican president went off into Alice in Wonderland territory on this stuff, if you're a civics dork, it's nirvana. But if you're just an American, I think it's heartening and gives you confidence.
Rachel, if this were what we might call a normal election, which is to say a campaign between a relatively standard issue Democrat for president and a relatively
I didn't even realize this was Leslie Jones. This made me laugh so hard yesterday. I didn't even realize until right now that this was Leslie Jones doing this. This is the funniest thing I've seen in months. Leslie Jones is a
already don't like him because he got on the full
genius. This is, you know how much I like myself some Kernack. I'm not alone. Apparently he's turned into quite the chart throb. This is what was on Twitter trending this morning. Steve Kornacki, our friend over at the MSNBC. What song? I don't even know what song we're talking about. This is Leslie Jones. Her reaction to Kernack not being on the television when she turned it on.
Wait, Steve gone? Who is this dude? Who is this dude, and is he as good as Steve? Is he going to write on the board? Is he going to pull out a calculator? I'm going to tell you right now, I already don't like him because he got on a full suit. That's not the Steve way. Look at this clean, neat-ass motherfucker. You just don't even care, do you? I don't feel like you concerned, sir. You got your hand in your pocket. What's your hand in your pocket for? That means you're relaxed. Why you relaxed? This is a goddamn election. Where the fuck is Steve? Steve! Where are you? Where are you in your calculator? This man does not have a calculator. Only calculator he got is on his fucking iPhone, and he don't use it. Wait.
What's the McConnell one? I don't even know. Let's go to Leslie's feed here. Let's see if we can find out. Somebody tell me what? Oh, y'all got to give it up for Steve. Here's another one. It's not going to be as funny because that was the funniest thing maybe ever. Let's watch Leslie Jones on the Kernack.
It was so nice, Steve. Yay! Everybody give it up for Steve! Good job, Steve!
All right, so this is just a congratulatory one. Let's go down. And, okay, that's Bob Casey. Okay. Okay, where's the McConnell one? If you guys see the McConnell one, let me know. Okay. Okay. Looking for McConnell. Okay. Oh, she fell for the kid coming into the room. Okay. Okay. Looking for McConnell. Still looking for McConnell. Boy, this is a thing with her. And I love it. Still going. Still going. Looking for McConnell. Looking for McConnell. It might be this. Hold on. Let's let this play out. And
Okay. This is big boy pants.
nope. Okay. Come on, McConnell. You guys are teasing me with this McConnell. There probably isn't a McConnell thing. There it is. Is this the one right here? Let's watch. Let's watch together, shall we?
To do anything for us.
Here we go.
I'm just a...
I passed it? Did I? The Marvel video was pretty good. The Marvel video was like, yeah! And then it's like, why is John McCain in there? Here we go.
I'm just astonished at how y'all still want this piece of shit to do anything for us. He literally is defiant, arrogant, and honestly dead. That motherfucker's not alive. That's not a live person. That's a corpse, y'all, that's talking to us right now. Piece of shit. Piece of indignant ass shit. You supposed to answer questions, motherfucker. You are fucking official. I'm just astonished.
All right. Okay. Not as funny as the Steve Kornacki one. Let's see. Let's check in one more time, see if Donald Trump's tweeted anything since that. Oh, he won the election by a lot, which has been fact-checked by Twitter. And as it turns out, not true. Okay, so, but still very good. Still, he is dead. He is a corpse, and that's fact. Oh. Just discovering pieces of bread that have fallen off my dish as I was celebrating. So good news, everybody. President Biden, once again. I know you've got the East Wing and the West Wing, and one can be in one and one can be in the other. We can have both presidents going at the same time. Once again, Joe Biden, gonna be president. Kamala Harris, gonna be vice president. I called this. Nobody listened. I'm going to play that graphic over and over again because it took me a while to do it. Hold on. Wow. Okay, hold on. Let me get my glasses. Trump. Just got an update from Trump. Okay. Refresh. And here it is. Let me bring it over to your side right here, guys. This is Trump. Give me a second. And here are Trump's comments.
Where are you going?
Good night, everybody.
Kevin, thanks for that.